Hi and welcome to Blue Sky Bonsai and to this short video about the Ginkgo Biloba. I filmed this bit of camera roll back in autumn because the Ginkgo Biloba is deciduous and I wanted to show it with all its beautiful leaves. Of course, if I'd waited a few more weeks I could have got those leaves their beautiful golden yellow colour that they go in autumn, so that'll be something to look forward to in autumn of this year. They're called biloba because the leaves have two lobes with a deep cleft between them. And some people call them the maidenhair tree because of the shape of the leaves, though I have to say I don't think I've ever seen any maidens with that shaped hair. The ginkgo species is dioecious, which means there are male trees and female trees. I've heard it said that you can distinguish a female tree from the male because apparently the female leaves are more rounded, but I don't think you can tell the difference by their leaves because on a single ginkgo tree some of the leaves are more rounded and some of them are more cleft. How you can tell the difference is the male trees develop cones and produce pollen. The female of the species is somewhat rarer, and that's a good thing because the female produces fruit and the ginkgo fruit smells terrible. It's very pretty though. The Ginkgo biloba is sometimes said to be a living fossil because they found fossils from similar trees in the genus dating back to 200 million years ago, I mean dinosaur times. But nowadays the ginkgo is the only species in this genus, in fact in this whole division of plants. So as well as looking beautiful, they are a very special species of tree. And as bonsai, they are very resilient. They can take direct sun, they are very hardy to the cold, they're fine in almost any type of soil, and they're very resistant to most tree infections. So, they really are an ideal species for bonsai. And now I'm going to bring you back to the end of January 2021, when the sky is grey and the deciduous trees are bare. Yeah, this is a very special tree and it's a group planting. 5 trees, the dominant one at the front. They're all a bit regularly spaced. Probably do a repotting in spring and put them in better positions. Use a different pot as well. But these are very special trees, I love them. Another thing to note about the Ginkgo biloba is that when you do a chop, they don't seem to callus. There's a little bit of dieback, but not very much, but there's kind of no healing over, so you have to chop them in a way that is just going to be like that as your future trunk. So all of the tops of these trees have been cut, and it's time to just take those stubs down a bit. And I don't have to do it all in one year, you can just keep doing it little bit by little bit each year until they start looking a bit more natural. But here, this one, I'm going to chop it just about here. This is a bit of a stub. You don't want to kill the new leader, of course, so that's pretty important. And there are 5 trees, I'm going to do 5 chops. Let's do the biggest one now. That was a big one. So this concave cutter really does cut right into it. If you're going to do a flush cut, you're actually going quite a long way into the tree as well. I'm going to also cut down a little bit more so we get a tiny bit more taper here and hide the rear of the wound from the front. So stand up for this bit. There we go. Moving on to this one. Similar, we just want to make a diagonal chop at the top that is more in line with the new leader. Tidy up a bit. And when you're doing a trunk chop, it's always important to decide in advance where the front of the tree is, because then you can use that to decide the angle and the face of the chop that you're doing. So if we look at this one from the front, at the moment, there's actually not much curvature, there's not much movement to the trunk, but if you look at it side on, there's quite a nice little bit of movement there on that trunk. So I can decide to make this side the front, or this side. And if I make this side the front, I get some curve there, and this diagonal chops at the back then. Right, 3 done, 2 more to go here. Now this one, as I'm cutting it, I can see it's going too low down, too near to the new leader. Cut this one a bit higher up, like this, so you can actually see what I'm doing. 4 down, 1 to go. So deciding where the front of this one is, if that is the new front of this tree, then that can go behind. Okay. Very good. Let's just have a look at the tops here. So this is the fattest tree, let's say the biggest, tallest tree which we have at the front of the scene. So it's an interesting thing, but the main leader on this tree is actually not the tallest. So I'm going to chop this down a little bit just to be sure that that isn't taller than the main leader. Maybe even shorter still. In fact, down to there, about here. And now this one too. And same here, the top bud is facing inwards towards the tree, and the second to top bud is facing outwards, which I like. So that one's coming down. And finally, there are 2 stubs here, so I'm gonna, they're deadwood, they were obviously cut some years ago and just left. I'm just gonna tidy them up now with some flush cuts. Don't want to go too deep. Another funny shoot going off the side here, so we'll tidy that up. Yeah, that's good. It's looking good. But this one here is as tall as the main leader, so we're just going to chop that off just to above this bud that will go out that way. So there it is. The Ginkgo Biloba group planting.